Good evening. We would like to welcome you to our annual State of the City. On behalf of the mayor and the elected officials, we welcome all of our visitors that came out tonight and all those that are watching the State of the City on our television station and our social media platforms. Please enjoy the video.
The expression better together certainly fits our community. No individual, no mayor, no commission, no manager, no city attorney, no staff member can take all of this great credit. But together, I think we all deserve a round of applause. Daytona Beach has taken enormous strides. And I think that when we are operating in our silos, and even I have a silo, although I am contacted and touched and communicated with people from all over the place, my vision is still limited. But as we operate in those silos, we forget just how much we have accomplished. But I think that we all realize that all that is accomplished and achieved is always done together. And this past year, our city welcomed a new commissioner. And I would like for you all to join me in saying to Commissioner Paris, we're delighted to have you, delighted by your style, your presence, and your commitment. And we all look forward to continuing to work with you. Residents voted that Commissioner May and Commissioner Henry would continue for 4 more years in their roles of service to the city of Daytona Beach. And with all of that being said, I think that the video really does illustrate how much has been done across the city. And as the mayor, my first campaign over 10 years ago, I talked about one city and one vision, how we could truly come together as a city. And by that, my objective really was that we all not only be connected, but that we all feel the fruits of the beauty and the wonders of living in Daytona Beach. And as you watch the video, I hope that you noticed that all over the city, all of these zones were touched, were cared for, were nurtured, and tended to. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the reality of the last, 3-4 years. And the reality of that time left us really challenged, not knowing how we would come out of the COVID crisis. And it was a crisis. But on the heels of COVID came 2 hurricanes that you can never be quite prepared for a hurricane. You do all that you think that you can do as a city and as a staff. I remember, about 3-4 years ago when one of the storms was coming our way, and I went out and I knocked on all these doors and I wanted people to evacuate because I thought that this was going to be the worst of all the storms. Turned out not to be the case. And I say that to say that these storms, by our projections and our hopes, they were much worse than I thought that they would be, and certainly much worse than I prayed. But our collective response as a community left me proud, left me honored to serve, and pleased to be able to tell my children that this is the city that my parents chose to raise me in. And it is the city that I rescued your mother from South Florida to bring her to. She lived in a concrete jungle, and I convinced her to come to Daytona Beach to start and raise a family. And the way that we responded is what tells me that I made a great choice. And if I might say, so did she. We had diverse events, and COVID and the ARPA funds enabled this commission and this staff to engage with our residents in ways that no commission in history has ever been able to do. And I would I think that my colleagues would agree. We've been able to do things that we have only dreamed of doing. Almost everything that you saw on that video, in some way, shape, or form, was touched by this commission. And much of it was touched through the ARPA funds. From Juneteenth to the Santa Run, Trunk or Treat. All of those things are Juneteenth is historic. Santa Run, relatively new. Trunk or Treat this year has outgrown its space. Both of those are commission-driven initiatives from Commissioner Cantu, Commissioner Henry. The 4th of July parade, gotten better over the last 2 years. Summer fun, the Mayor's Fitness Challenge. The Mayor's Fitness Challenge is at an all-time high. We have 153 people registered for the challenge this year. We are literally busting out of our seams, and we're not certain how we will get everyone in to the newly named Cherry Center. And I think that bears witness to our appreciation of our history. As you all know, last month we renamed the Cherry Center, or earlier this month, we renamed the Cherry Center after Julia and Charles Cherry. Julia was a legendary school teacher here in Daytona Beach, and Charles Cherry was a city commissioner, founder of the Daytona Beach Times, and one hell of a fighter for equality and civil rights in our community. I think we made a good decision in renaming the center in their honor. Midtown Music, Showtime in the Parks, bandshell concerts, the Seafood Festival, supported by Commissioner Paula Reed, has had enormous success during last year. The National Night Out by our police department is always a big event supporting our kids. Wine walks in downtown Daytona Beach and food trucks in Commissioner May's zone are a big success. And if you have not gone, if you have not experienced the beauty of our downtown, which is taking on a life of its own with the new Esplanade. The Esplanade said to Daytona Beach and to the world that our Christmas is unique and it is befitting the beauty and the glory of what I believe is destined to be one of small city America's best downtowns. With the new Brown and Brown building, with the new apartments that are going in, the Esplanade itself, we are poised for greatness in our downtown. The greatest part, the greatest accomplishment of the last year, I would have to reserve that for the statue. The statue is perhaps the greatest achievement in the history of our community. Not simply because of the majestic and wonderful, awe-inspiring, transcendent life of Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune. Her life and legacy, they speak for themselves. And she now belongs to our nation's posterity and to the world. I was honored to represent our city, both in Pietrasanta and in Washington, D.C., as she took her rightful place in Statuary Hall. But what the statue really said about Daytona Beach goes beyond her legacy. It says a lot about our community and where we have come from the time in 1904 when, with only $1.50, dream, hope, and faith in God, 4 little girls and a little boy who was her own, that she started the great Bethune-Cookman University. Against all odds, with threats to her life, her family, she persevered and she created. Fast forward over 100 and almost 120 years later, this community came together, black, white, Democrat, Ormond Beach residents, Port Orange residents, it didn't matter where we came from. We came together and we said that this life is worthy of our investment. We were challenged as a community with raising funds for one statue to go into Statuary Hall. As a member of the Statuary Fund, board, I was proud, I was honored, I was pleased when the board voted that we wanted a replica statue or a statue of similarity. It would not be, it would be bronze here in our riverfront park. So the board went out and raised more money from the $400,000 that we originally planned to raise. It went to $700,000 and went beyond that. Decided that we believe that this journey from Maysville, South Carolina to Daytona Beach to Pietrasanta to Statuary Hall should be documented for the record. And we created a world-class documentary that I hope that all of you have seen. And if you have not, please make it your business to do so. You are missing out on our history. The Veterans Museum took a new home, got a new flagpole. The Purple Heart parking space is one of my favorite places or sites in City Hall. Orange Avenue Rec Committee. You all know that, I've been mayor, as I said, for 10 years. And for 10 years, we didn't know what to do with the Orange Avenue Rec. And frankly, we still don't know what we're going to do. But I think that this commission and this community said something that's important. It said that we want to hear from you. We established a community board designed specifically with the task of telling us what we should do, giving us options about what could happen with the rec center. And the work that they did just left me speechless. We were all blown away with the commitment, the dedication, and the results of what they gave us. And it is our hope that we will be able to act upon the recommendations that they've made. Affordable housing, this commission's number one priority, took great leaps, great bounds with Commissioner May, Commissioner Reed, both helping with ARPA funds again to support affordable housing. Clyde Morris Landings, 282 affordable units there on Clyde Morris with city funds because the city agreed to divert tax funding to support that project. So we have stood behind our commitment to affordable housing. Doorbell cameras have been a huge success in our community. My most pleasing achievement during this tenure as it relates to our commission's general basic foundational work is the fact that our budget for road and resurfacing and sidewalks has doubled. We've gone from $2 million to $4 million, and this year, $4.1 million. And it is my hope that next year, whatever the budget increases will increase percentage-wise in that particular fund. And our streets look better. Our sidewalks look better. We all feel better when we live in a in a city where our streets, roads, and sidewalks are cared for and maintained. The $1 million roof replacement program. I have said from this dais many times that the number one challenge to homeowners who are in despair is when their roofs are in jeopardy. Because when a roof is in jeopardy, the whole property immediately becomes in jeopardy. We doled out $1 million, again, of ARPA funds to support roof repairs in this community. Again, a community of care, a community of compassion. And I say this, and it goes all the way back to in the throes of, when we were in the throes of the pandemic, and this, or the previous commission, voted to expend $4 million to support our residents to give them a break as it related to their water bills. Well, when those hurricanes came and our residents came to City Hall and shared with us their grief, shared with us their pain, their despair, because many of them had lost everything. This commission voted unanimously to expend $2 million supporting residents with grants. And for that, I think each of you are to be commended. and give them a round of applause. As many of you know, I bleed blue and gold. Mainland High School, I was there on yesterday using ARPA funds again to support 30 students who will have a special class of tutors helping to prepare them to pass the SAT, ACT, because some want to get into the college of their choice. Some have not passed the state test that is required for graduation. But if they get a certain score on the SAT or the ACT, they will be able to graduate. But all of them, when I looked in their eyes, I saw our future. I saw motivation. I saw drive. I saw grit and determination. And when I left, after giving my 3-minute speech, I was proud. I was proud because they were young people who said that failure is not an option. No one test is going to determine my future. They're going to come before school. They're going to go at lunch. They're going to go after school to pass that test. And we use taxpayer dollars to support those students because we believe in them and we believe in their dreams and we are inspired by their drive and determination. But not only did we do that, as a community, when the football team left us all feeling proud by their drive and their push and their fight on the football field, by their class and the way that they carried themselves throughout the season. We rallied together as a community. In just 2 weeks, we raised over $50,000 to send every student who wanted to go. They had a B average, they could go. Or if the principal designated that they should go, they could go to the game. Every football player, every cheerleader, every band member, all went to the game free of charge. They all ate. The football team was able to spend the night overnight, and they all went and represented us in ways that I watched, and I went away and thought back to my own time as a student there, and I left full of pride because they experienced something that they will never forget. And they did so because we supported them, not simply as a commission, but as a community, the business community as well. This city was faced, and our police department has been faced with a challenge over the last several years. You know, we all remember, the crisis that police departments are facing all across America as it relates to how to hire and how to develop a force that will be able to combat crime and to build a team that will be able to withstand the challenges of that work. And we know that it's very challenging work. So we were short some 44 or 45 police officers. From that dais, that seat behind me, I challenged our city manager and our police chief, as well as Mr. Sexton, to come up with a solution that would help our chief to be able to hire the men and women that he needs to make our police department stronger than it's ever been and to give him the resources that he needs. And there's no resource in police work quite like human resources. So they came back within 90 days, and I wondered if they would make it. But they came back with a solution that left us with the best paid police department in Volusia County. As well, the best paid fire department in Volusia County. And for that, I am grateful and I am hopeful that your work will be made not easier, but more palatable, and that it sends a message to the men and women of both departments that says that this commission, this community is with you. And for that, I want to remind everyone that Daytona Beach is a better place because we stand together, we work together. We're not all that we want to be, but we are headed towards the destiny that we are called to be. And that destiny is the great American destination. God bless each of you. God bless the great city of Daytona Beach, and God bless our work. Thank you. I don't know if I said this, but if you work for the city of Daytona Beach, if you work for our city manager or our city attorney, who are the only two people who work for us, please know that beyond a shadow of a doubt, that we, this commission, I think I fairly speak for all of us, we appreciate each of you immeasurably. Excuse me.